Alright, so it's been a couple of weeks since I picked this thing up back from the paint shop, and it's been sitting in the grass, just kind of getting grown into the weeds. But now I got it inside the garage here at home, and I'm gonna go ahead and take this front end apart, because if you remember, I didn't have the front shutter for the ST version. I had the regular shutter, and also the AC condenser is different. It's a little more narrow. So right now I'm gonna take it, put it on some jack stands, and take the front end apart. Also, we're going with the different headlights. These were just temporary, and they're not even bolted in. We've got the better ones up here, DRLs, and this is a 2014 with a 2015 and up facelift. So let's get to work. So also, this car needs a new dash because of the passenger side dash being deployed, and this is the worst thing for me, is removing the dash. But on these Focusts, it's not as bad. It just takes a little bit of time, so we'll get to that later. So last night I pretty much got the whole ST front end assembled, including the AC, and I filled it, vacuumed it and filled it, and the AC is blowing cold. It's fully facelifted. This bumper may have to come off one more time because of the shutters. For the third time they sent me the wrong shutters, so I basically did a shutter delete for now, and I'll probably leave it like that. Here comes the fun part. Every bag in this vehicle is blown besides the curtain and the seats, I guess. So I've got both front seat belts, knee bag, steering column sensors blown, and the dash, which is the fun part. So I'm just gonna disconnect the battery and start taking parts out. I'm gonna take the seats out, the center console, and the whole dash has to come out to replace that passenger dash airbag. I have everything on site besides a SRS module and a driver's seat belt. I've ordered those, so once those come in, this thing will be complete. And remember, anytime you're working with any electronics, especially airbags, you want to disconnect the battery, at least the positive. The negative's way back there, but the positive, disconnect it and we'll be safe. Best thing to do is just pull the seats out completely. That'll give you all the room you need. And you might find some money in here too. No money, but trash. Ooh, a nickel. The best thing about working on cars is you always need either parts or tools, and I've got something that came in from maxtool.com. You can't ever have enough tools, and this is just a tool that, I don't know if anybody needs or not, especially if you have a compressor, but it's kind of convenient. It's a portable air pump that you set your pressure to, and it's battery operated, and you can just throw it in the car on your trips. But this tool was free, and it's like over $100, because once in a while you get these deals where you purchase 2 batteries like this. I needed these batteries for my impacts and all that, and they throw in a tool for free. So now I get 2 batteries that I paid for and a free tool. So check them out, maxtool.com. I just ordered these yesterday and they're here. I'll throw these on charge real quick because I'll need them. Look at all this room for activities now without the seats. Now it's going to be much easier to work in here, and I vacuumed a little bit because it was all disgusting under the seats and stuff. So now I can start pulling the center console, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but I am going to try to attempt and put a 2015 big screen in here that we had on the parts cart. Hopefully it's gonna work. If not, this will work, but I will attempt to upgrade this screen. Here's the progress so far. There's just a bunch of little screws and bolts, and the dash will be out soon. There's your steering column sensor. There she is. Yep, and it is blown. And that is how you remove a dash. Well, it's not a how-to video, but if you're wondering how many screws there are, there's like 20 here, 20, 30 there, and a bunch over there, and a bunch of connectors. So that is how the Ford Focus looks like without a dash in it. Alright, new dash going in. This is not a hard job, it's just time consuming and just a lot to deal with, you know. And make sure you don't forget any wires and stuff like that. Alright. It's finished. Well, I pretty much got the interior assembled. The only things are missing is the driver's seat belt, which I just closed the door on. It's still locked up, and I got one on order, and also the SRS module. I have a couple, but none of them match the part number. And I know some people like to send off the module and the belt to get it rebuilt, but in this case it was cheaper to buy a belt, and it was cheaper to buy a SRS module, and I like original. When you get them rebuilt, there's always a chance that it could fail in the future, which happened to my Expedition, and I gotta send it off again. But got those two things coming. So the interior came out good. The screen upgrade did not work out because you have to replace basically the whole wiring harness in the dash, and so I had to put the original one back in. Oh, that wasn't clipped in all the way, but who cares? I mean, when you're driving a 6-speed, you don't need a big screen. My Shelby was a track pack, and it had the smallest screen you can possibly get, and I didn't care because I never played music or used the navigation or anything like that. So yeah, so look at this. new airbag here. So the only two codes I will have still is for the the driver seatbelt and the SRS crash code, which everyone knows if 3 or more airbags deploy, there's a permanent crash code that needs to be reset. Oh yeah, and I'm still missing a wheel. I was gonna get a full set, but I was able to find one locally, one wheel to match, and I ordered a tire because this is a spare. The alignment's way off. When I test drove it the other day, this thing was bouncing and vibrating and all kinds of stuff. So I don't know what it is. Maybe the subframe is bent a little bit because it was hitting the wheel pretty hard, but I'll deal with that later. Right now, I guess it's assembled enough to go outside so I could work on something else. So stay tuned for the next video. Later.